Hello and welcome to episode 28 of Kerbal Space Endeavour. Okay, so here we are in the northern bases. We have jumped to pretty much all of the different biomes already. Poles, polar lowlands, southwest craters, twin craters. Our first crater we've already been to, and right here we are, and one more thing I have to go to is the polar crater right here, and then I'll be done with Mun pretty much. But we have to wait before we do the last jump because we have in 2 hours our next mission parameters appearing on our Moho mission. So let's collect some science really quick and then time forward. What can we collect here? High concentrations of iron are detected in the surface here. The magnetometer field is detected in this region. The absence of large craters nearby suggests that this crustal magnetization is left over from the Mun's once molten core. Collected and recorded temperature data from the environment. Process it. You record the crew's assessment of the situation. Okay. No, we don't need that. Okay, the seismic data. The sensor has detected a minor quake on the surface. Transmit. Okay. You leave the sample door open on Mun and go to something else for a while. That's probably not such a good idea. And the goom seems to be less dense here. Also makes a lot of sense. Now we gotta wait, and there we go. Transmit that data. Yes, because we can reprocess it. We have a nice scientific bay here. To note, I had to redo the first 2 missions you saw in the last episode because you remember I was setting up my computer anew because I have 2 new SSD drives in it now. However, I did forget to save the last save where I went to Mun already. So yeah, before going though this time, I changed things up a bit. We have these radial landing legs right here. And these are a lot better than the stock on the landing frame. And as well, we added a omnidirectional antenna, so we are finally able to send back data. However, we still need to get back out and plant a flag and get some surface samples. So, actually, let's take the aviary port first, the one where we fly over the area, and store it here. Now we can get down here and flop around. Take a surface sample. The sample contains evidence of a weak localized magnetic field. Alright, and the report says the dust is getting everywhere. Nothing new. Plant a flag. We are in the northern basin. So we're going to call the flag, if it pops up, there we go, northern basin, and second to last flight, let's not capitalize it, second to last flag on Mun. There we go. Now we're gonna go up here. One of the downsides by putting up these radial landing legs is that I forgot that there was a ladder before, and now it's kind of behind the leg, so it doesn't really work too well. But we're in a low gravity situation, so we have our wonderful RCS. Well, actually, we use EVA propellant to get around. So we're gonna take another surface sample to keep it as a hard copy and bring it back. So yeah, I've been sending most of the data back home except the surface samples. They're sending them back and bringing a hard copy back home. I could have brought everything twice in, just could bring everything twice. However, I did feel like I'm going to have more than enough science pretty much when I'm going to be done with Mun. So that's going to be useless bringing more and more science back. So yeah, we transmit that, we process this, and what I did forget is we need to start extracting carbonite again, and activate the LF omics because we still need some fuel to get back home. Okay, let's wait this out here for just a second. Waiting. Can we see oh yeah, there we go. There's Kerbal right there. The planet Kerbin. Let's not keep that confused all the time. Transmit the data. Yes. There we go. Alright, and with that information sent, we can start time warping. There we go. Meanwhile, our fuel is being refueled, I guess. And we are full actually, but we have in 46 minutes our next target, so I'm gonna retract the drill, turn off the LFOmics. There we go. And I guess we can already do it from here. Well, actually, one more thing I want to check is, okay, we're still on the light side of the planet for quite some time. This is important because I didn't bring enough energy so we last throughout the night, because the rotation of the planet of Mun, Mun, is too slow. Okay, here's our mission. Let's switch to it. And yeah, it was just a small course correction. It didn't take up too much fuel. It was just a slight nudge that we had to give it. So we have a very close flyby of Moho, as you guys will see here in just a second. We're accelerating, and it's just a few meters per second left, and just these few get my periaps very close towards Moho, pretty much precisely onto the spot where I want it. Switching back to Mun, we still have pretty much one more place to go. That is the crater up here. So now we're just gonna go fly there, hit the last biome, get the last science there is to find on Mun, and then we can return home. Not gonna go in too much details of these landings. You guys said you don't want to see all of the landings and all of this, so we'll just switch here to the last landing. And as all the other landings, it was not really very interesting or anything else. We have a good landing, we don't fall over, we use a little bit of RCS. We start pressing our action group button and collect science, and then we plant the last obligatory flag, but that's from old me. Our crater, and we have been all over, and now it is time for us to return back home. Now, on the way home, I must admit I was a little bit tired, and I kinda screwed up my maneuver right here, and I actually flew in the wrong direction, because you remember this craft is never intended to go back into the atmosphere. Well, actually, it never has seen atmosphere or touched atmosphere because we built it in space. And yeah, I had to go into a high orbit and then thrust pretty much the other way around. This was far from fuel efficient, and I feared that I will have to send a rescue mission like we've done so many times before. But I do get myself in a low atmospheric trajectory because I need to slow down because I'm running out of fuel, as you can see in the top right corner of the screen. And it seems like I found some science here on the way back. Never mind. And yeah, let's just collect all of that, close it up, and even more science. Great. All the science. More science that we'll ever need, but hey, science is science. turn off the lights so we don't consume too much power, get in all the photovoltaics, fold it in so we don't burn them off, and my periapse is about 40 kilometers low or high, however you want to see it. Is the glass half full or the glass half empty? How do you see it? And then we use the super awesome power of aerodynamics and slow ourselves down. I didn't dare to go deeper into the atmosphere because otherwise I'd fear that I would not be able to get back out again, or I would start burning up. And what I'm doing here is I still have so much excessive RCS fuel I used. Pretty much I just used it to slow myself down even further without using the main liquid fuel and oxidizer engine. But as you can see, we get out of the atmosphere again and we've slowed down significant enough. However, we're still way too high, so I did this for another pass. But when I was done with that pass, the problem I had was that I didn't have enough fuel for a rendezvous with our space station Shangri-La, so I had to come up with another idea. Well, and then I remembered we still have a Kerbin shuttle attached to our station, and we send one of our construction guys into it and say, well, you're a pilot for this mission, and he's going to rendezvous with our Mun mission to pick up Jebediah, Bill, and Bob. Then this completely fueled craft will spare half his fuel with the Mun mission. And yeah, that's pretty much what we did. So yeah, we're just gonna go in for docking, transfer the fuels around. Bill, Bob, and Jebediah will switch over to our shuttle, and then they will fly back down to the Kerbal Space Center to bring all the hard found data that we're transferring right now back to the guys in the science lab. And they can have a rest after, and then what was it? I think it was about 10 days tops that we spent on Mun. We were really quick on Mun, and I could have been a lot faster if I brought more electricity with me, but well, the next module that I'll build for flying places will have enough electric power. So yeah, so here we depart, leaving our construction Kerbin back in the other craft to return it to Shangri-La. And yeah, it was a normal descent, it was a good descent, nothing particular that was troublesome or something. The construction was very well done on this craft, and we can come in here for the landing. And I must say, I was right surprised. The landing here was a lot better than most of my landings. Very smooth, very neat, and with the power of the brakes, we slow down and successfully bring our 3 orange suited guys back home with some extra science. But yeah, that was really successful. We can just recover the vessel now, and yeah, we've gathered quite a bit of science, as you can see in the top, and our guys actually did get a lot new ribbons, most of them which I cannot read because the writing overlays weird and I can't really read it. But yeah, we can unlock all new nodes here, and the last tech nodes need over 1,000 science. But let's jump back where we actually retrieve our Mun lander. And yeah, just simple recycling. We actually get out and have a look at this while it is being scrapped into scrap metal. There we go. And we can move on to the next thing. So I would like to launch all the missions fairly soon to all of the different planets. It was just yesterday was the release of the version 0.90 for Kerbal Space Program, which adds so much cool new stuff. I cannot switch over, it's not possible yet because the mods have not been updated, and I don't really think I will switch over because so much of the core game is different that I really don't think I can get it to work with my save file, and I really do want to make it with this save file to completion. So therefore I'm gonna stick with version 0.25 that I am at the moment, and yeah, we'll see about future episodes and other things in other mods depending on how we're doing. But what we built here, which is important for us to get to different planets, is a new deep space satellite, one with the biggest satellite dishes on it, that will give us even on ELU and connection. And yeah, we need this before we can start sending missions to Jewel, for instance, and other planets. And yeah, just getting it out here, setting up my satellites, and yeah, normal stuff. But as I said, we're gonna stick with version 0.25 for the moment. I think I'm gonna finish the Kerbal Space Endeavour series just on that version. And by the time I'm done, hopefully all of the modders will be up to date with 0.90 and we can switch over. So yeah, just setting up my maneuver, and I'm getting it into a polar orbit again. Here I am back at my SATCOM 1, 2, and 3, lining them up with our new satellite down here. So yeah, we have a constant connection everywhere, and we shouldn't have the problem that we had a long time ago where we had this setup not completely perfect and we didn't get any connection. But yeah, 3 of the dishes are already active, one going towards Moho, the other one going towards our Dres mission, and one is going towards our active vessel. So yeah, there's a lot of planets, and we will have from now on a viable connection to it. Now here's a little bit of a misconstruction. I somehow missed a leg when trying to build this, and Shangri-La is running a little bit low on food since we're going to send a new mission fairly soon, and therefore I sent up some more snacks for our Kerbals in space. Yes, as promised, we are building a new craft, and we still have a lot to discover on Minmus. So I designed a new craft for Minmus that we're building once again in space, because it's just so much more convenient. And I didn't come up with a really good name, I just called it the Minmus Explorer. But I must say it looks a lot cooler, and it works a lot better. We're gonna have Jack as our commander of this mission, and we're gonna have 2 other Kerbals from our construction team follow him to work as his science assistants. And yeah, we're gonna go to Minmus, complete all the science we can get there. Now that we have finally unlocked the GravMax, we really can get all the science from one space. And yeah, it looks pretty neat. We're also gonna complete some contracts with this. If you remember, we still have contract that state build a base on Minmus, build a base in orbit around Minmus, and plant a flag on Minmus, if I am not mistaken. But yeah, with just some normal orbital maneuvering, we set up our nodes, we accelerate, and we get to Minmus as fast as we can. But for the landing and the conclusion of this episode, I think it is time to switch back to original me. 1 meter per second. And touchdown. Yes. And the landing legs on the side actually paid off. That is really nice. Okay, now that we're here, we're gonna release SAS, and we're gonna wait another 10 seconds. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, 4 Mississippi, 6. Wait, what? There was a 5, right? 5 Mississippi. I was counting too slow anyway. And we have another contract complete that states build a new planetary base on Minmus. It's not really a base, but hey, The game doesn't know, and we don't care. So yeah, that's the reason why we brought the additional crew tanks along, because it required us to have a base that could sustain at least 9 Kerbals. So we have 4 capacity here, 4 here, 2 here, and 2 here, so more than enough. But now that we are here, let's make some new science from the greater flats. And alright, while the material samples were processed, you began to turn your thoughts to how much Minmus looks like a mint dessert, and have discovered that you are now hungry. Process this data. Even Minmus' minty-looking frozen surface is magnetically dead. Alright. Gravity again. The scan picks up the subtle changes in the field caused by the orbit of the moon. This data will provide valuable insight into local planetary systems. Alright, process that. Faint seismic waves are detected. Okay, transmit that. Yes. Process this. Collected and recorded temperature data from the environment. Process it. Transmit it. Transmit it. Process. Transmit. Yes. So much going on. Alright, we can do the next science. For that, we have Jack get out. Woo! He indeed does even a cool backflip. Oh yeah. Now that was awesome. Alright, and the seismic information can be transmitted then. Alright, I guess we get to set the first flag for our Minmus mission. And these are the greater flats. And what a not successful mission. Let's just say the first out of many Minmus landings. Yes, I know. I come up with really good things right here. Okay, take a surface sample. You sneak a taste of the surface sample. Nope, it definitely is not made of delicious dessert systems. Wait, what? Oh, delicious dessert products. Okay, EVA report. You feel a little bit like a superhero when you jump in the low gravity. Super Kerbal. Okay, enough of this. Okay, grab a hold. Store the experiments. Push off. Get stuck. Get back down. And pick up another surface sample as a hard copy for the guys back home. And stop slowly, slowly, and grab a hold and get back inside. So yeah, once again, I have about 10 days to complete all the biomes of Minmus. I'm gonna do this without recording it because you guys said just the normal landings on these 2 easy bodies that are Mun and Minmus are not too interesting, so we'll skip this. Yeah, but this concludes the episode. Thank you guys for being patient. I'm sorry it was a little bit late. I still had 2 more exams that I had to take before Christmas, but now they're done. I'm super excited that now I actually have a little bit more free time, so prepare for a lot more episodes, hopefully in the near future. And yeah, that's about it. Thank you guys for tuning in. My name's Antilles, and stay tuned for the next episode.